Dopamine is the motivation neurotransmitter. It gets you locked in, reduces procrastination, makes you want to get shit done.
Extra wheels spinning upstairs can have a negative effect rather than a positive effect.
And it can be like very counterintuitive to like your productivity goals. There's nothing worse than wanting to get shit done, but you're stuck in your own head. Now, ashwagandha can do a really good job at desensitize a particular receptor brain. They're living their life in this flat-lined state, and it's called anhedonia. So the common things that raise dopamine are exercise, ice baths, coffee, social relationships, being motivated by a task, having a to-do list.
That's a dopamine hit right there.
And you just have like a mini cup size of carrot salad. That can flush out the endotoxin. And people that take raw carrot salad, man, they report the best poops ever. When you irritate your gut, guess what gets released?
Serotonin. And then you lose even more motivation to go have that dopamine, that gets you done energy.
Lifting heavy, weight training and or sprinting, eating a diet that's actually high in saturated fats. Supplements, use one that I know can help move the needle, boron, can help to increase free testosterone. These compounds are neuroprotective. Over time, you're actually building a better brain.
All right, guys, this has been one of my most anticipated episodes ever. We had Australia's #1 biohacker in the studio today. This is your one-stop shop to biohacking for entrepreneurs, specifically around mental clarity and performance, anti-aging, vitality and energy production, relaxation and sleep. We go through everything, immune response. We will go through in this conversation with Lucas everything you need to know about getting the best out of your body and what that looks like within biohacking. So I've been waiting for this episode for so long. Usually I do one day's worth of research. I've been researching Lucas for the last many months, and he's just the absolute best in the business when it comes to this stuff. So whether you're an rookie when it comes to biohacking or you're someone that goes really deep on your research, this episode is going to be massive for you. So we'll get into it really quick. If you're watching on YouTube, please do me a massive favor. Subscribe to the channel and like this video if you haven't already. We have amazing guests lined up coming in the next couple of months that I don't want you guys to miss. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you could leave me a 5-star review, I just want to say thank you, and I really do appreciate it. And it really helps the podcast grow. Let's get into it, guys. For this one, I'd be taking notes because there's so much awesome value. Let's get into it. All right, we're back with another episode. We were just chatting for literally an hour and 15 minutes off air. We could have easily hit record, but this has been a podcast, generally, Lucas, I've been looking forward to for over a year, if not getting close to 2 now. It's probably my own, personally, most anticipated podcast. So for those that don't know Lucas Aoun, he's Australia's #1 biohacking educator. You might know him from Instagram or TikTok as Ergogenic Health. I always fuck up saying Ergogenic Health. So he's followed by the likes of Dave Asprey, Andrew Huberman, and Derek from More Plates, More Dates. So he's really up there in the biohacking world, not just in Australia, but globally. And he's also a fully qualified naturopath as well. So I am so fascinated by the content that you put out, the work that you do. I usually say this at the end, but for anyone I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to the podcast, or people that want to get the best out of their life. Yes, we talk business a lot of the times, but this podcast and what we'll talk about today has the power to completely transform your life. I can't encourage you more to go check out Lucas's socials and see the content he puts out on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot as well, because it's changed my life. And I've been, as I said, really, really excited. So welcome, brother. Thank you for coming in.
Dylan, man. I'm bloody pumped to be here.
Let's do it, bro. You put together a little bit of a stack with me, a little bit of a collaboration not too long ago that I'm very excited to start. I've got everything in. So where I want to start today, because as I said, we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast, a lot of like founders and future founders that are looking to get the best out of themselves in their life. So where I wanted to start with you today is I know it's a little bit general, so some of these things can be hard, and you often do like proper blood works with your clients first to give them like real dialed in stacks. But I think where I'd like to start, and then people can then go and do their own research off the back of this, is what would be the holy grail entrepreneur's stack if you had to think about focus and mental clarity, energy and vitality, and maybe something to help them relax at the end of the day or to combat any daytime anxiety. What would maybe your stack of 5 things be for this group of people?
Yeah, I love this question. So the productivity stack for like an entrepreneur.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're looking at a few key neurotransmitters we really want to dial in, right? So the first one is dopamine.
Yep.
Dopamine is the motivation neurotransmitter. It gets you locked in, it reduces procrastination, makes you want to get shit done.
Yeah.
So then therefore, how do we boost dopamine to actually lead to those benefits? So the first of all, what we need to do is actually supplement with the precursor amino acid, and that is an amino acid called L-phenylalanine.
Yep.
Now, you may have seen phenylalanine pop up on energy drinks and things like that. Be careful, watch out for this amino acid. But the good thing is this amino acid is actually considered an essential amino acid, which means the body, you actually require this from food or supplements.
Yeah.
So the body knows what to do with phenylalanine. The key point here is that because it's a precursor for dopamine, we basically are using about 500 to 1,000 milligrams of this ingredient to support the dopamine side. Then in addition to that, we want to...
How do you buy this by itself?
Encapsulated.
Encapsulated.
Yeah. So there's plenty of brands on iHerb or Amazon that sell phenylalanine. It's not that novel. Then what we want to do is we want to increase GABA slightly. Now, we're sort of talking off air about GABA, sort of reducing anxiety, sort of putting the handbrake on that overthinking, ruminating, just that sort of erratic feeling.
You're speaking the language of everyone listening right now. I could guarantee entrepreneurs are an ambitious bunch, but there's definitely times where those extra wheels spinning upstairs can have a negative effect rather than a positive effect.
Yeah. And it can be like very counterintuitive to like your productivity goals. Because a lot of people, they get really just, there's nothing worse than wanting to get shit done, but you're stuck in your own head.
I was just speaking to you as well, Lucas. I've had 2 weeks off caffeine. I literally just came my first sip of Yerba Mate like 5 minutes ago, and I'm already feeling a kick in. I've felt the last 2 weeks without any caffeine. Yes, I'm slower to wake up and hit full capacity mentally, but I felt because I had less of that daytime sort of jittery energy that sort of comes with being like a high-paced entrepreneur and someone with ADHD, I've actually felt my productivity be better without it. So counterintuitive, but I've already felt kind of the effects of what you're talking about in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, there's definitely a role for caffeine, a time and place for it, because obviously it's going to be helpful if you're sleep deprived, if you booked a shit hotel,
Staying in Chester Hill.
But looking at like that combination there, so you got the amino acid, then to increase that GABA pathway, probably the best way to do this without many side effects and drawbacks is taurine. So if we supplement with taurine, about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of taurine, that combination there with the amino acid phenylalanine plus taurine, you're getting dopamine and GABA. Then on top of that, if you want to boost acetylcholine, which is the memory, the verbal fluency, being able to like think quickly and remove brain fog, that is driven by acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine can be boosted by taking another compound called alpha GPC. And alpha GPC
That's one I've saw pop up a lot.
It's a really popular ingredient. It's probably one of the most popular ingredients in pre-workouts because acetylcholine is important for increasing the mind-muscle connection. So between those three, it's a good like beginner's sort of entrepreneurial stack. If somebody's like a complete noob to nootropics, it's a good introductory, like get shit done, get a feel for, what happens when you increase these neurotransmitters. And also beyond that, these compounds are neuroprotective. So the benefit here is that over time, you're actually building a better brain.
And something we were just speaking off air as well, something that I was going to ask a little bit later in the podcast, but I think now is a good time. Creatine monohydrate, right?
Yeah.
Since I started training at the gym 16 years ago, creatine was like the gold standard, the #1 supplement, one of the most studied compounds in the world, was really known and pioneered in the fitness space for, how that can help you there. But over the last year or two, I've saw a lot more research come out around the nootropic benefits of creatine monohydrate. Can you talk to me about the role that can play in supplementing like mental performance for entrepreneurs or anyone?
Yeah, so creatine recently has received a lot of attention for its cognitive benefits, specifically in states of sleep deprivation. So they're looking at your typical gym bros dosage is like 5 grams a day, as you take that as like a maintenance dosage. If you want to crank it up, you can go up to like 15 to 20 grams per dose, like per day. And that's been shown to maintain cognitive performance even during sleep deprivation. So if you've had a shit night's sleep, 5-6 hours of sleep, but you need to be sort of like switched on, creatine monohydrate, super cheap, super available. Anyone can get it. Minimal side effects. The only side effect is if you get a shit brand or a shit quality one, you might get some GI upset. You might get a little bit of, flatulence, diarrhea, that sort of stuff.
And taking it at that, so was it up to 20 grams you said for that? How does it, I mean, I'm not a biohacker. I don't know. I'm going to speak in very layman's terms, right? How does that actually help? Is it because it keeps your brain more hydrated? What's the sort of mechanism in which creatine helps for mental clarity and performance?
Yeah, so one of the key pathways in which creatine works on is by replenishing the body with its energy currency, which is ATP.
Yeah.
So adenosine triphosphate, which is what the body uses to complete cellular processes. So without ATP, you're not getting, things aren't working as efficiently in the body. That includes the heart, that includes the skeletal muscle, that includes the liver, that includes all different organs and cells. A lot of them require ATP to actually execute their functioning.
So as a base, like stack for everyone, 5 grams of creatine a day would be beneficial for, say, 95% of people listening.
Some people say that creatine should be considered an essential vitamin.
Wow.
That's because it's receiving a lot of new research. They're seeing that even in like elderly people as well. So the 70-plus-year-olds, like 70, 80, to prevent cognitive decline.
Yes.
Instead of them smoking cigars and you know.
Speaking of that, what's your thoughts on nicotine? That's another one that, is off the back of Dave Asprey's one of the loud advocates for that. What's your thoughts on nicotine as like a cognitive enhancer?
Nicotine is also another nootropic that's been studied very well. And it's also got, like, if you go on PubMed, which is like the database for clinical trials, you type in nicotine, man, you'll see thousands of beneficial studies.
I'm sure you've spent many hours on PubMed.
Man, back in the day, I just, like, before AI existed, I was the one creating my own list of studies, and for each ingredient. So I built out this is my IP, like, spreadsheet that
you have like 2,000 or 3,000 different compounds on that spreadsheet.
And again, man, this is before AI. Like, this was just like me staying back after university, being obsessed, and being like, I know one day this is going to be worth
Fucking
gold.
oath, yeah.
Because it's like, you're only as good as your toolkit. So if I can build the biggest toolkit, then I can help.
It's sort of like your life's work. If you've been able to organize this and document all this as well, and you can go to your kit bag.
Yeah.
So, on nicotine, why do you think it's got so much, attention over the last year or two in terms of like the nootropic benefits?
Yeah. So nicotine, because they're seeing that it's actually protective against like Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And it's doing this more so for Parkinson's because it's actually reducing dopamine neuron death. So what happens is over time, we lose the ability to actually spawn new dopamine neurons, and nicotine has some favorable effects at actually preventing dopamine cell death. But the problem, I wouldn't say it's a huge problem, but for some people, the drawbacks, like the side effects of nicotine, are that yes, it's very addictive, habit forming. People need to also not get confused that nicotine is different to a cigarette.
Yeah.
Because you can take nicotine in a patch and that has barely any side effects in terms of, negatively affecting your health. Like, if you want to really biohack yourself, cut up the patches and put a patch on every 3 days or so.
Do you dabble in nicotine at all?
Man, if you ask me how many things I've dabbled with there over the years.
It's more research purposes, right?
Everything that I do is oftentimes based upon, when I research something, I need to acquire it and subject myself.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you saw the things that I've exposed my body
You're
to.
the human guinea pig.
Like, I've pushed my body to certain limits to the point where I'm like, man, things have gone terribly wrong. Things have gone really well.
Yeah.
And I've learned there's certain pathways in my brain, specifically the brain, because I love looking at brain optimization.
Yeah.
There's certain pathways that you're better off not touching.
Not touch. Yeah. So what was your personal experience with nicotine? Did it work for you?
For me, nicotine was additive to like caffeine. So I felt like it was more cognitive.
Is it stimulant, nicotine?
It is considered a CNS stimulant, and it does vasoconstrict blood vessels, which means it can raise blood pressure a little bit. It was good, but not enough for me to be like, I'll keep it in the stack.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've got better compounds.
Yes.
I've got better things Catwaba. I've got different ingredients that I can use every now and then without the side effects. Don't need to worry about that. Like, that's going to hit, and it's not going to leave me in a lower baseline when I stop.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the other things I definitely wanted to speak to you about today. When we're talking about the entrepreneur's stack, we talk about like that focus and mental performance. You just mentioned Catwaba, something that I've just bought and I'm super keen to try. I've looked into a lot of the research around it. It seems like it's got a lot of great benefits for energy and vitality. Could you talk about Catwaba? And look, we've just spoken about Lucas has a spreadsheet with 2,000 to 3,000 different compounds. And you've been working, like, you could have launched one of 100 different supplements as your first one, and you chose Catwaba. Yeah. Why starting at Catwaba? Because it's little known to the masses at the moment, right?
I'm passionate about it because I want it to become well known. The reason for that is because in South America, which is where the plant's well known. It's well known in Brazil.
Yeah.
Right? It's Brazil's most famous aphrodisiac.
Really?
And if you go to Brazil, like you see what people are like. They're very fun up there.
Dancing, got the hips going. And
Like they're upbeat, they're excited, they're in a good state, and they're happy and they're really social and they're outgoing. Some people might say it's from other things, but Catuaba is actually from the same plant family as that thing that people use for partying.
Yeah.
It doesn't contain the same alkaloid, but Catuaba is unique because it's a herbal extract that's been used by shamans for thousands of years to increase like energy, promote healthy mood, and even ignite romantic intimacy. So it's actually, technically speaking, it's actually an aphrodisiac. But what people need to realize is that just because, like, for example, maca powder is a really well-known aphrodisiac, you've probably seen it in Chemist
I
Warehouse.
was drinking it the last 2 weeks.
Well, watch out. So maca powder is considered an aphrodisiac, but it has other benefits because things that increase sexual performance and or a libido actually have a beneficial effect on mood because they're both the same sort of.
Well, some of the reviews that I read on Catuaba was it helps them feel more socially confident, more able to be themselves, to go speak to people, to show up as them full selves. And as someone that's like a lot of the listeners in the entrepreneurial space, there are periods in time where you need to have that energy, that vital life force, but you're not quite feeling yourself, and it holds you back, right? And it's not always a mental thing. Sometimes it's a deeper, I don't know if it's a chemical thing in your body, but is it true that it can help with like social?
That is the biggest thing is like I used to struggle so much with getting out of work mode, switching out of work mode. And then let's say for example, going on a date.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to hear about your fucking, your spreadsheets you're working on. You want to connect on in a different way. You want to also be a bit more lighthearted and not as intense. Cause that's one thing, I don't know about you, but I've been caught out many times being, bro, just fucking relax.
Chill out of it, yeah.
Take a chill pill, man. Like you're so intense. You're always thinking about being productive. Like just relax, man. Like but I don't want to relax by having a drink.
Yeah.
Cause
And you don't drink, eh?
Nah. For me, I'd prefer to use something like Catuaba that I can take to amplify the social experience without the come down or a crash.
How is Catuaba best taken? Like first thing in the morning, evenings? Like how do you generally prescribe it for your clients?
So usually what I recommend is better early in the day. So like 1,200 milligrams, which is 3 capsules.
Yeah.
And that's our dosage that we selected. And in terms of like, it's not going to keep people awake per se, because it's not like caffeine. It's not overly stimulating. But yeah, it can really help with getting people out of that like intense state of mind where
I've heard people can use it as like an alcohol alternative as well when they want to go out and sort of relax themselves and open themselves up socially without getting on the drink.
Yeah. So between Catuaba and there's another herb that's really well famous for this is kava. You may have heard about kava.
Yes.
That's another one, but kava's more like numbing. Like whereas Catuaba, it won't numb you. It won't like give you the blunted feeling. It will actually amplify.
What's your thoughts on kava? I've seen like a lot of actually ads for it recently of people trying to like get on the kava bandwagon. How does it compare to alcohol? Does it have any alcohol content, or is it working from a completely different mechanism?
It actually, kava is what we would call like a tranquilizer and sedative. So it's basically, it hits the GABA A receptors, which is what alcohol actually hits as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually slows down cognitive processes.
Yeah.
So if you want to chill in terms of like, you want to just be on the couch, just chilling, and you actually want to switch off. Yeah. Kava could perform pretty well in that regard, like in terms of giving you that effect. But if you want to like show off your intelligence, probably not no, because it's going to like, I wouldn't say it's like cannabis, but like it may flatline, like couch lock effect. And that's like, personally, I don't have any desire for that. But man, I'm happy you mentioned that before about if you look up Catuaba on the internet, and this is what I encourage everyone to do. Look up what people say about when they use Catuaba. You'll see nothing but good things about it. Whereas the thing is, if you look at like ginseng or ashwagandha, you look up what people say about it, man, you'll find plenty of negatives.
Because Kutwabas, it's like a ancient tree bark extract or something, right?
Yeah, it's an ancient bark.
You just mentioned something that I was definitely going to chat to you about, but now that we mention it, let's talk about it now. The devil's herb. Now, you're someone, ashwagandha has been one of the most hyped herbs of the last 5 years, I would say. You see it everywhere. But then if you do your research, you see a lot of conflicting reviews. Some people love it. Some people can have a really negative experience. What has your research or your experiences with ashwagandha taught you? And what are some of the messages that you get from people and some of the horror stories that people might need to consider before jumping on ashwagandha?
Yeah, so first of all, ashwagandha is a very well-studied herbal extract, and it's considered to be an adaptogen, right? So adaptogenic herbs basically mean that they help your body respond to physical and mental stress. So therefore, we need to think, okay, it must be doing something to cortisol, because cortisol is the stress hormone that we're pumping out. Now, ashwagandha can do a really good job at suppressing cortisol, which is a good thing for a lot of people. But unfortunately has like a little bit of a nasty side to it. And that is that it can actually desensitize a particular receptor in the brain, the 5-HT1A receptor, which took me a lot of time to figure this out. And I had to dig deep into like rat studies and mechanisms. And what I realized was that this effect is actually similar to what SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antidepressants can elicit and induce, which is basically they feel like they're living their life in this flatlined state where they can't feel the highs and they can't feel the lows, which is, unfortunately, it's actually a state that a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves in because they're pushing super hard. They end up in this numbed out, and it's called anhedonia. So unfortunately, ashwagandha can actually cause anhedonia in individuals who take this particular herb. And unfortunately, for some people, even when they stop taking ashwagandha, the side effects last for months after stopping.
That's the scary thing, right? So talk to me about the types of people that could benefit from ashwagandha, because I think a conversation I want to have right now, actually, to kind of frame this is like dopamine and serotonin. For those that don't understand what each of them are and their roles, can you explain what they are? Because I think that's sort of related to the answer.
There's a lot of myths about serotonin that we need to talk about because we're conditioned by what we're told on news media and what people are sort of talking about with serotonin. Serotonin is not necessarily the happy neurotransmitter. I like to talk about serotonin as the hibernation neurotransmitter. Serotonin goes up when you're fatigued in dark environments. Think about before sleep. When people feel lazy, they want to like procrastinate.
It's sort of counterintuitive. People wouldn't assume these things.
Dude, the thing is like serotonin is numbing. It basically has a numbing effect on dopamine. Dopamine, on the other hand, it makes you want to live life.
Yeah.
Think about that feeling when you're a kid and you see the world as like, oh my God, there's so much to explore. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get shit done. I'm motivated. I'm driven. That's dopamine.
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself the question, all right, I'm seeing people come to me. They're saying, Lucas, I'm feeling this way, this way, this way. And I'm like, dude, your serotonin levels are too high. And it's suppressing your dopamine, and therefore you can't feel the pleasure in things that should be pleasurable.
This is probably a really basic answer. Can you test like your dopamine and serotonin levels?
It's a good question. Unfortunately, the technology is actually not the best in terms of, we have like urine tests where you can look at the metabolites, but that's not going to tell you where the dopamine is. Because in your brain, it depends upon, like you're producing dopamine as you watch this, right? You're also producing serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine. It's all firing right now. But the thing is, it matters about where in the brain and which receptor it's hitting as well. So it's like, even if you test the metabolites, what really matters is like, how's Dylan's dopamine hitting the dopamine D2 receptor? Like what are we going to do? Slice open your brain and measure it?
So is there things that people can do to increase dopamine? And is there such a thing as too much dopamine? Can that have negative effects?
Yeah. So the common things that raise dopamine are exercise, ice baths, coffee, good social connection, social relationships, like being motivated by a task, like, having a to-do list.
Yeah.
like where you just smash off, your Trello board or your
Yeah.
Asana board, you just tick off that.
That's a dopamine hit right there.
Oh, when you get that, you like just crush that. Amino acid rich foods, so like eggs, chicken, red meat, that are going to provide your precursors. In terms of so going outside in the sun, exposing your body, like your skin, to the sun helps with dopamine secretion. If you're inside all day in fluorescent lights, sitting in fluorescent lights all day, and you're in an office job, for example, it's robbing you of your dopamine.
Have you seen, obviously you would have, because look at Luke, just got to follow Lucas and look at his stories and look at his house. And
Oh, yeah. You've seen the red rats?
you can see it from right out on the street.
Dude, it's out. Actually, there's like a bridge in Melbourne where if you go over the bridge, you can just see in my apartment, all red lights. The whole house has been like, you can change the color to whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I can do whatever color, but
Yeah.
the whole apartment's red.
Have you seen the, like when you video record a like fluorescent light in slow motion, it's flickering like 100,000 times a second or per minute or something ridiculous like that. And people wonder why they're highly strung and burnt out by sitting in these bright fluorescent lights all day.
Dude, it raises cortisol. And it also makes you just feel, tense, on edge, and just not like, you're just grumpy.
100%. Now let's go back to one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, that entrepreneurs stack. Now I'm drinking a yerba mate, which is something that I just picked up from your content a little while ago. I love it. It tastes like green tea, but I think it's a little bit more potent. Can you explain some of your favorite coffee alternatives? There was another one that I saw that I hadn't heard of until yesterday, that when I was doing some more research on you,
Paraxanthine.
Paraxanthine, that's the one.
Yeah, so really important to point out is that caffeine has 3 metabolites, right? What does that mean? So basically it means that when you ingest caffeine, it gets broken down into 3 distinct molecules, like really well-known molecules. The first one is theobromine, which is really high in yerba mate and also dark chocolate. So theobromine, I don't hate it. I think it's more energizing than caffeine. Then you have theophylline, which is one that's not really that well studied. It's more for lung health. And then you got the third one, which is the most common, like the highest amount that our body converts into, paraxanthine. Paraxanthine has been pioneered by my mentor, who's the world's greatest supplement formulator, Sean Wells. Shout out to Sean Wells.
Shout out to Sean.
Paraxanthine is considered to be like what people are seeking from caffeine. So it's the energy boost, but without the jitters. So paraxanthine can be taken in capsule form.
Is it hard to source or relatively easy?
It's pretty hard. No one in Australia is selling it as a capsule form because, we're almost 10 years apart. But between 100 to 200 milligrams, you could even consider trying it with your yerba mate.
Yeah.
If you have yerba mate, paraxanthine, L-tyrosine or phenylalanine, and catwaba, those 5 together, man, you'd be flying.
Where does L-theanine come in when balancing out like stimulants like caffeine? How does that sort of work?
Yeah, so if L-theanine is rich in green tea, and so what that does is it basically controls the arousal and energizing component of caffeine. So basically prevents you from tipping over into that angst and anxiety sort of effect.
Now, speaking of like entrepreneurs and like what you just mentioned there, one of the biggest things I think when I look at my risk profile in terms of my health, we were just picking out like some stomach issues and things that I've had. I think like probably you can relate as well. Sometimes you burn the candle at both ends. You're like a very driven person and you're very well educated. So hopefully you've built a good system to allow you to do that in a balanced state. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, probably our biggest risk factor in terms of health is the stress and cortisol response, right? Do you have any favorite supplements or even like activities, things that people can do to help balance out cortisol levels? Because it can be extremely damaging. I think one of the biggest risk factors that I face is not getting my cortisol in check over the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, so you're spot on with that. Like cortisol, if it's chronically elevated, can actually deteriorate your health, and it can also actually accelerate aging.
Yeah.
Which no one really wants that. We all want to like delay it, of course. Like we want to be in good health for as long as we can.
And I had a mentoring call last week and someone thought I was 27. I was like, fuck, I'm 30.
That's awesome.
No, I'm not 32 yet. Fuck it. I'll get to the age I don't know my own age.
Have you done your biological?
My biological age. No, I
I
haven't.
haven't sent you a link to a company. They're doing not just biological age, but they're actually measuring the age of each organ as well.
What?
It's freaking awesome,
That's
man.
crazy.
These guys were basically, so how about this? They basically get on a call with me last week. I had no idea who I was talking to. Like, this happens all the time. Anyway, this guy's exited a unicorn company.
Wow.
She basically sold his company to DoorDash.
Yeah.
Does the AI for how people walk around supermarkets. You heard about that?
Yeah, all the flow and stuff.
And so he's done that, and now he's pivoted into this biological age thing and
cool.
joined forces with this other lady. And I was like, man, these guys are unreal.
Brian Johnson sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of field.
But they're called generationlab.com. They're really awesome, man. But with cortisol, like what you said before, there's people listening to this podcast and they will want to know what can they do to lower cortisol. There's many different things we can do, right? We can integrate certain foods, certain supplements. We can manipulate our lifestyle so we can integrate yoga, meditation, breath work, the typical like wellness stuff. But in terms of like foods that can potentially help to lower cortisol, I'll actually point towards teas. So for example, chamomile tea does help lower cortisol. Rosehip, hibiscus, these teas can help with like managing cortisol a little bit. In terms of supplements, if we take a high dose of taurine, so what I typically take is about 3 to 5 grams. We're talking like creatine dosage range.
Yeah.
That can lower
They
cortisol.
come in like 1 gram capsules, taurine, right?
Yeah, so you're taking I had like 4 this morning.
Yeah.
And that by itself can actually help to lower cortisol. The other amino acid that's a great one, which is rich in bone broth, is glycine.
Really?
You heard about glycine?
Yes.
It's actually the tastiest amino acid because it's actually really sweet.
Wow.
So you can actually use glycine as like a sugar alternative. If you want a sugar hit, sprinkle some glycine over your oats.
Wow.
And you get like a sweet tasting oats that actually lower cortisol.
So do you feel like, are you a high cortisol person?
Man,
where do you think you sit?
Funnily enough, when I did it's called
You can test cortisol levels in blood, yeah?
You can, but the gold standard way to test cortisol is called the Dutch test. The Dutch test is like a saliva and urine.
Yeah.
So it collects both. It's the most optimal way. It's the most accurate. And I found out my cortisol levels were actually low.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I was sort of surprised, but I wasn't at the same time because I always crave salt. Like I need salt. Like I'm just putting salt on everything. That can give you a bit of an indication that your body needs a little bit more cortisol.
Wow.
If you're someone that holds a lot of water in your body and you got a lot of water retention, which is not me, I'm pissing out all the time.
Yeah.
If you hold a lot of water retention, then your cortisol levels are likely elevated.
I definitely gonna do, like, we'll talk about this off air, like some bloods and like do some stuff with those as well. Sure, I want to like do all this properly. While we're on that, because there'll be heaps of people, like there's some people in here, businesses, 7-8 figures that have the money to spend and do all this stuff. If someone was listening to this and they had the budget and they were like, I want to go, this is their wake up call, that they've been making money and working hard, but they've been abusing their body and not doing things right. If you would go and recommend someone to do like their bloods, obviously you don't have to list everything you test for. What are the main things that you'd want people to test for that you think are going to be the most detrimental to their health potentially?
Yeah, I actually love this question because I don't know how, man, but I'm really good at memorizing blood tests.
All the fucking and all the compounds and stuff that you remember just off the top of your head. I'm like, how do you memorize this stuff?
I don't know. I just love it.
Yeah.
Just because I just love it all and I soak it up.
Yeah.
But with blood testing, so obviously I work closely with a lot of entrepreneurs, Nick Bell, Sabra Sudi, these guys.
I loved your podcast with Nick Bell.
It was awesome, man. So with the blood testing side of things, there's a few, I've actually developed like a panel, but I'll list off some of them right now. So vitamin B12, that's definitely on there.
Most people deficient in that usually?
I recommend it because I know, okay, if these are entrepreneurs, they've been pushing themselves and they're probably eating shit and drink and, just sending their body through the ringer. Most likely their B12 levels have probably taken a hit.
Wow.
And if it has, then it's really easy to fix.
So easy, yeah.
You just take a sublingual version of B12 that I recommend. Or you get B12 injection depending upon how bad.
Man, I told you I was vego for 5 years, I was taking a sublingual B12. I got my bloods. Last time I got my bloods, my B12 was too high. So it's really easy to supplement. Like
It actually is, which is a good thing, but some entrepreneurs won't know that because
apparently, and I was getting it, and when I was reduced my B12 intake, it helped. I was getting like every now and then like dizzy, slightly like dizzy spells. Apparently, that can be
because it affects
high B12.
because it affects your electrolytes as well if you're taking too much. But B12 would be on there.
Yeah.
Vitamin D, because if they're inside working in an office, then their vitamin D levels probably too low.
Yeah.
And if it's too low, then it's an issue, right? Because I'm not going to mention the C word, the virus. But if you had higher vitamin D levels during that period, you have greater protection, right? The same applies for the upcoming next flu, the next cold. Like, get your vitamin D levels on the up end.
Vitamin D, zinc.
Yeah.
All these things were so hard to get in.
They're sold out on They literally sold out on iHerb because you had Dr. Eric Berg, you had myself, you had health coaches basically saying, hey guys, wake up, like these can help.
We'll keep going through this stack, but while we're on this now, so we won't bring up the C thing again later. You know, we all hear what the WHO and the UN are all saying, trying to prepare us for the next big thing that's coming next, even though that was meant to be a once in 100-year thing. Watching the next 5-10 years, who knows what's coming. What are the like things that you want to keep at home in your cupboard to sort of be like, okay, I've got a baseline level of protection to maybe the next viral outbreak or whatever it could be?
Yeah, so this is what I love emphasizing is like what you need to keep in your pantry year round for bulletproofing your immune system basically.
Yeah.
So first of all, vitamin D needs to be there. Zinc is essential as well, just during periods of when you actually get sick, not as a preventative.
And every day you don't need it. Yeah.
The other one is colostrum. Colostrum is, I would say it's pretty well studied.
Colostrum, isn't that from breastfeeding?
It's the first milk that's let down
from,
but you can get it from cows.
Okay.
Like cow's colostrum. You can also get goat's colostrum as well. But between that and then this other constituent that's found in colostrum called lactoferrin. Lactoferrin has now become my absolute daily staple.
Oh, really?
Because what I've found since I've started taking it is that everyone else around me, when they'd get sick, they'd get it pretty bad for like 4 or 5 days. Since I've been taking colostrum, and I used to get it as well. I used to get sick. I used to get 4 or 5 days, and I'm like, man, I'm actually getting sick to the point where it's like it's hindering my ability to work.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
I hate that.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
No one wants to be sick.
Yeah.
There's what's the saying? A healthy person has 1,000 wishes. A sick person has only 1 wish. It's spot on. It's really true, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, lactoferrin is found in colostrum, and I've been taking like 500 milligrams every day to build it up into my system, which actually heals the gut as well. That one there by itself has prevented it. I'd get the sniffles for a day.
So do you buy it as colostrum or as
I buy it as lactoferrin.
Lactoferrin.
Because I prefer to get it I want to go it's like pharma grade.
Mm-hmm.
It's really isolated. It's really direct.
And it's fine to take every day, or is it just like during the winters you would take it? Or
there's no toxicity.
Or it's just like a great immune booster.
Staple, man. It's a staple. Because I'm like, if you read up the benefits on lactoferrin, you'll be blown away. It's literally a miracle molecule.
I love it.
It's really good.
You just mentioned gut health. I was doing my research on you yesterday, as I was saying, and I saw a recent clip that you posted that went super viral. Can you talk to me about the gut health super salad that can really transform people's gut health?
Yeah. So when it comes to gut health, there's multiple things we can be doing to ensure we're have what we call sealing the tight junctions. You may have heard about leaky gut, which is basically where food particles and protein and gluten can permeate through the gut lining and basically trigger off autoimmune disease, right? And this is why Hippocrates used to say all disease begins in the gut. You probably heard that saying before.
Yeah.
And I'm a naturopath. So naturopaths, all they ever do is talk about guts and shits and poops.
Yeah.
So
speaking my language now, my stomach's been my Achilles heel the last year or two.
So when it comes to these tight junctions, there's one particular thing we need to be focusing on, which is we need to be lowering something known as endotoxin. Endotoxin is a gram-negative bacteria that builds up in the gut if you've been having alcohol, if you've been eating shit foods, if you've been eating
Bread?
Fortified wheats, yep, things like that that affect your gut. They build up endotoxin. But the good thing is that if you incorporate a daily grated carrot salad, you just basically grate the carrots and you create this carrot salad. You open up have a little bit of like vinegar on top, and you just have like a mini cup size of raw carrot salad. That can flush out the endotoxin. It can actually help to bind through these endotoxins. And people that take raw carrot salad, man, they report the best poops ever.
That's one thing, as I said, I saw that yesterday when I'm doing the research. I already told Mel, like, that's something I'm going to implement every day. It's easy. It's obviously got other health benefits to eating carrots too.
Reduces colon cancer risk as well.
Wow.
Dramatically.
Well, I've just done a 2-week colon cleanse. And yeah, as I said, I've struggled with my stomach. My poops, by the end of that and the start of that, night and day. So I'm going to get onto that now. What do you think causes, there's so many people that have stomach issues these days. What do you think the root, like the main root causes to stomach issues? I think a big one is like gluten and wheat. Like I got tested last time I had those stomach issues. I'm not gluten intolerant, but that doesn't mean just because you're not celiac doesn't mean it can't have damaging effects on your body, right?
Well, it's also what they're spraying. Like they're basically spraying glyphosate.
Yeah.
Which is like,
it's a cancer causing like carcinogen as well.
And it's been shown to actually cause intestinal inflammation. It opens up the tight junctions. So you're more susceptible to leaky gut. Some medications as well. I mean, antibiotics, there's a time and place for them. But if you're overusing antibiotics, then destroying your gut. Alcohol's another one as well. So if you're doing, if you think you're doing just your weekend alcohol stints and it's not having an effect,
it's too much already.
It is. And the thing is, we're not 21 anymore.
Yeah.
So over time, the body's become less resilient. It's less like bulletproof per se, and it affects our gut a lot.
Is that there was another compound that I heard for the first time yesterday, tudka, like a liver protecting herb. Can you talk about that?
Oh man, so that was actually tudka is another staple, right? I take tudka every single day. I had 1,000 milligrams this morning, for example. And the reason why
I got to carry on, it's just all your supplement.
Yeah, the new checked in luggage bag. It's just supplement. I'm moving to Dubai in August and I'm seriously thinking about how am I going to pack all. The check-in is like, in addition to my 40 kilo allowance.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how much Emirates is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Whatever. I want them. They keep me healthy. I need them, man.
How many different supplements do you think you take a day?
At the moment, probably like 15.
That's not too many.
It's actually, I'm not, because I've found over time is like minimum effective dosage, less is more.
Yeah.
If I overload my body with too many, I find that I can't distinguish the benefits between
from each one. But you've also studied them all, you've experienced them all. So you've got them in your kit bag should you feel like you.
So I know what to do when, like, let's say, for example, food poisoning, right? Yeah. No one wants food poisoning, but you're probably going to get it. You go to Bali, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You go to a shit restaurant, you're probably going to get it. So what can you take post food poisoning? There's things you can use after you get food poisoning, such as activated charcoal.
Yeah.
That's one really good ingredient. You can take tudka as well, or ox bile, which helps to get the bile acids moving. And then you can also use something like BPC 157, which is it was the most popular peptide in 2024.
Let's talk about that. Actually, we'll talk about, there's literally the first word on my next page I just 10 was BPC 1.57, but I want to wrap up that gut health thing. So let me know if I'm missing anything. So for people that want to help improve their gut health, raw carrot salad. Avoid like gluten as much as you can. What was the other thing that we just said?
Minimize
alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
Is there any other things
that people are doing
that are causing this?
One is actually eating too fast.
Fuck, that's me as well.
That's eating in a rush. Thing is, you're a guy that's like, you get so much shit done.
Yeah.
Because that's you're like me, man. You want to move fast with everything you do.
Too fast.
But with food, it can't be that way.
I was trying really hard, as I said, the last couple of weeks to like eat consciously and really overchew my food. And if I'm not really concentrating on it, I'm just fucking, I've been scoffing it down.
It's just shoveling it down.
Shoveling it down.
Do you reckon you do it because you're like thinking about time. Like, let's just,
I'm not even thinking. It's just a habit now. I think I'm an ADHD because I'm ADHD. Any like thing I see as a chore, I just want to get it done as quick as I can. Like I eat for fuel, unless I'm eating like a specific meal that I'm like, oh my God, I'm really going to enjoy this. I'm just eating because I have to eat, right? Like if I even like things like, brushing my teeth or flossing, just my stupid ADHD brain, it just sees these things as the most incredibly boring thing in the world. So I just want to move through them as quick as I can so I can either work or relax. I either want to have it work as much as I can or have as much fun as I can. Everything else I see as getting in the way. So I just want to move through it. Not that it's a good thing. I'd love to sort of be more chill in that way as well. And it's definitely, be more mindful and be more present in just what I'm doing.
how do you go switching out of like work mode, for example?
Sometimes I struggle, but I also have this unique ability to be like, okay, I know when I'm getting to the point of like diminishing returns in terms of work. And when I get to that point, I'm really good at like separating. If this is a problem that I can deal with now, I'll think about it. If it's a problem I can't deal with now, then I'm really good at compartmentalizing that because I'm like, there's so many different moving parts and stresses. If you let that one thing you're worrying about that you can't fix until tomorrow morning when you're back in the office, keep like ruminating in your brain, it's only going to cause you negative side effects. So I'm good at compartmentalizing certain things, but generally I'm just a fast paced guy. So there's always something else to fill that space.
One thing I've noticed is, because I even asked Nick Bell as well, like I love my girlfriend, right? But she sometimes says that I'm always in a rush.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Ask Joe, am I always in a rush or am I always?
I had to ask other entrepreneurs who are really successful, like Nick Bell.
Yeah.
I mess him like, bro, are you always in a rush? He's like, being in a rush has made me a few $100 million.
I know, but I it's been great for me too, but I'd also like to feel like I can still get the same amount done and relax a little bit more at the same time.
Well, that's like, yeah, being able to transition out of that. Because if, for example, even before I met Vanessa and I was single, I really struggled, man, because we'd get to Friday night and the alternative is I could go out with mates, but I just struggled, man, because I'm in work mode and it's hard sometimes, but I'm a lot better now, man. Like I'm a lot better.
I'm a lot better now as well. Like I used to always work all the weekends. Now I take at least one full day off from the weekend and then maybe half day the other day. But I think like as well, I'm at a position now that I've to a certain extent set myself up and I've kind of built to that stage. If you're not where you want to be in life, where you haven't ticked that first bucket in terms of financial freedom, location freedom, that sort of stuff, you have to grind and you have to work late nights and weekends all the time. But it's more, I think I think it's just a perspective thing. Like I'm just always driven onto the next thing, onto the next thing, onto the next thing. So I think like some things that I've started to do over the last 2 weeks have been really conscious has helped. But I just think it's a natural thing that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. I also heard as well, what's your thoughts? Do you think there's any correlation between ADHD and stomach issues?
That's a good question. Well, some people say that, like, for example, ADHD and autism and these sort of disorder, like mental sort of situations is like inflammation in the gut can actually lead to dysfunctions in neurotransmitters in the brain.
I was saying to Joe yesterday, because I did that detox and I've been off caffeine. I said to Joe and Mel yesterday, I feel like the last week, 50% less ADHD.
That's amazing.
And people say it's also linked to things like heavy metals and toxicity and things like that. So,
well, there's certain gut bacteria that can actually, if you have elevated, so like for example, Candida, can actually mess up your neurotransmitter release.
Yeah.
And I mean, they said the gut has more neurotransmitter receptors and produces way more than the brain. So the brain actually sends more signals to the gut sends more signals to the brain than the brain does to the gut.
And the thing is, like, you used to hear that all the time as one of the cliches when we were younger, your gut is your second brain. And you're like, what does that mean? But now you experience it. If your stomach doesn't feel good, you feel fucked.
Dude, that's the other bit is that serotonin, actually, when you irritate your gut, guess what gets released?
Serotonin. And then you lose even more motivation to go have that dopamine, that fucking get shit done energy. Man, it's so crazy that how linked all this stuff is.
All linked.
With Candida, what can people do to if they do have Candida, like the bacteria in the gut? How do you get rid of it?
What I mentioned before, lactoferrin.
I'm going to lactoferrin. Joe, make sure we clip that up because I wanted to get some lactoferrin.
Lactoferin's really good because it actually starves these bacteria.
Okay, yeah.
Again, not many side effects in terms of like collateral damage. It's not an antibiotic.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get, it actually promotes the growth of bifidobacteria. So because it actually increases the growth of these bacteria. But in terms of candida, for example, there's things out there. Pal de arco is a herb from, again, I think South America. That's pretty well known. Oregano oil is another one.
I've been seeing this everywhere lately. Oregano oil and like black seed oil and those.
Oregano is one of those ones that you'd want to bring to Bali with the charcoal, and also berberine. Let's say you get the food poisoning. You need activated charcoal, oregano oil, berberine, and Saccharomyces boulardii, which is the anti-food poisoning stack.
Oh wow! So what else are the other uses for oregano oil? Because I've seen probably 20 clips in the last 3 months of it going viral for all these different claims. Now, claims on Instagram are claims. You're someone who's researched it. Are there any other like things that oregano oil is really good for?
I would say overall the research for oregano oil is strong for immune health, for preventing the overgrowth of bad bacteria. As like an antioxidant. The way I perceive oregano is like immune and gut.
Okay.
So immune, gut, like good to have in your toolkit.
Is it something that would be a daily use, or it's when you?
Not necessarily, because it does have some really potent antimicrobial effects. So it might be wiping out some beneficial bacteria.
Yeah.
It's not something that I take daily like lactoferrin.
Are you a fan of like prebiotics, probiotics, or do you think overrated?
Actually, I am a fan of probiotics and prebiotics, but it matters which strain you're using, because these are like, put it this way. I believe that the future of treating mental health is going to be so, with the help of AI, to discover which strains to use, because there's millions of different strains. It's like it's a gold mine. Like basically, if you find one that does a good job, it'll pay off well. Because remember before we sort of spoke about those neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, GABA. There's a lot of these. Some of these gut bacteria can actually really increase the growth of these beneficial bacteria, and this is what I call the space of psychobiotics, meaning that they're actually and this is what I'm excited about, is in the future of my supplement brand as well. Hint, hint. I might be looking for an ingredient that hits dopamine through a gut bacteria.
What's the name of your supplement brand for those that want to go check it out?
INB4. So INB4. Yeah. The premise behind that is releasing novel ingredients in before everyone else.
Before there's mainstream. And I'm telling you, I've known Lucas for a couple of years now in terms of like online. He fucking gets it. So I would be backing him in with these sorts of things. You talking about that bacterial overgrowth and stuff in the gut got me thinking about mold.
That's a stealth.
It's crazy. Have you seen like an increase in incidents of like mold related toxicity and adverse effects over the last couple of years? I feel like it's everywhere now.
So let's put it this way. If you are someone that has ongoing health issues and you've done blood work and everything's come back okay and everything's all looking good, you still feel like shit, you wake up feeling brain foggy, you just feel off. Mold could definitely be one of those like triggers. And the thing is, molds can actually make its way through the nasal cavity into the lungs. It can, colonize sort of thing. And it's bad, man.
Yeah.
Mold toxicity is devastating, like really bad.
I don't know, you'd probably know the statistic more than me. I think it's like 20% or 25% of the population have some gene that they're really sensitive to mold. And if they get it in, their body can't really fight it off and it can have really, really bad effects. We had, what's his name? Corbin from 3 Warriors. He was sick for many, many years I think it was started from mold because he had that gene where he couldn't fight off mold. Is there any herbs or supplements that people can take to help them combat mold?
To detox?
To detox?
Yeah, fortunately there's both pharmaceutical things and also natural compounds that could help strip out these mold particles in the gut and also the lungs. In terms of a stack, so there's a few key components. I would put in N-acetylcysteine, NAC. That was really popular during the virus.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember NAC.
Sold out. So I had a good last because it's really good.
Yeah.
So NAC is one. I would say zeolite. You may have heard of zeolite. I'm not sure. And it's clinoptilolite. You probably think I'm speaking another language. So zeolite is the ancient Romans used to use it to clean out their aqueducts.
Oh, wow.
So, because it actually filters out, heavy metals and toxins. So that's another one. And then the other thing that I'd implement is glutathione. Glutathione's, before you mentioned about supplements to keep in the pantry year round, I think glutathione should be there.
Yeah.
Because glutathione is the body's master antioxidant.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to have this conversation as well as we move into winter in Australia, start getting the condensation on the windows, and that's when people start to have really bad experiences with mold. We got those little mold things all around our house that like catches water. We just threw one out the other day. In the space of like 6 months, it was full of moisture.
Do you have an air filter as well?
We do, yeah. We have an air
I think an air purifier
Mhm.
in your bedroom, and also the snake plant. Have you heard about that?
We got to get them. No, yeah. I have seen clips about them, talk about
Got
it.
one in my in the bedroom. Basically actually removes toxins in the air.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. But I sleep literally right next to an air purifier as well.
Yeah.
Like right next to my head. You should see my bed set up, by the way.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I realized we forgot. We're going to move on. We'll talk about sleep and test next. But I forgot to come back to BPC 157. Now, I have friends that have taken it and swear by it, said it completely healed their gut. My best mate had like a hernia surgery, and after that, he took BPC 157. They said it'd be like 2 months till he's back at soccer. He was back in 3 weeks. He's also a bit crazy as well, but it's like he's used it twice and it's really fucking helped him. You go online, you hear so many great stories, but places like the TGA and things are starting to look down on these sorts of peptides. What is your overall opinion on BPC 157, and what sort of gut-related issues do you think it can be good to heal?
Yeah, so first of all, in Australia, I was probably the first one really like popularizing
A bit for me.
popularizing BPC 157. Now, first of all, BPC stands for body protective compound, right? And it's actually produced in the gut. And it's considered to be a peptide, right? So BPC 157 is a peptide. In 2024, I think it was the most popular peptide.
It was everywhere.
It's everywhere because it's really good, man. Like in terms of its injury healing recovery. So like, if you've torn your meniscus, for me example, that's why I started using it, because I tore my medial meniscus playing soccer.
You're a professional soccer player back in the day, right?
I mean, semi. I wish I was playing for Chelsea. Yeah, pivoted after that. I went to Hungary, represented Melbourne, came back and realized these guys are so good.
Yeah. I'll stick to my biohacking.
That's when I came back, dropped out of exercise science, and then
Pivoted to this. Good move, long term.
Yeah. Because I'm like, man, I got so much to offer the world beyond just being a soccer player.
Yeah.
Like I want to.
And you got to dedicate your whole life to it if you want to perform at that level. It's not like, I go to training a couple of times a week. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. But yeah, coming back from that competition, I actually like tore my medial meniscus, used BPC 157 instead of getting surgery. So I could have got it cleaned out. But I took BPC and it basically healed my medial meniscus within 3 weeks.
Because it's a peptide, but it's not naturally created inside the body as well, right?
Like
Sort of,
yeah. Like it's semi-natural.
Mhm.
I'd call it like semi-natural. But in terms of the benefits, I would say the main reason why it got so popular is because it's oral. And what I mean by oral is you can take it in a capsule.
Yeah. No
Whereas
injection.
most peptides need to be injected. The good thing is that BPC, if you take it in a capsule, it actually knows where to go in the body, which is really rare to find. So in terms of gut health,
Yeah.
that's where all the research is on. For BPC 157, if you search ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel disease, any sort of gut-related issues, BPC can help to heal that.
I want to do bloods and stuff, but do you think there's a chance that maybe BPC 157 could help me? Or
Absolutely, man. I'll put together a gut health study.
yeah, we'll talk because I'm sick of dealing with gut problems. Everything.
It'd be affecting testosterone as well.
Yeah. I haven't got my test measures for ages, so I'm keen to do that as well. It could be a shocking.
Can I say something? For guys that have made bank, their test levels are through the roof.
Oh, really?
It could be you, man.
Wow.
You never know. But yeah, in terms of like because I mean, if you describe yourself as like you are in the top 0.01% in terms of top 0.001% in terms of wealth and
something
financial freedom.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So therefore, like your social hierarchy, socioeconomic status actually influences your testosterone.
Well, I've always been at least like the last 10 years, a very confident person.
Driven,
Confident,
motivated. Even if shit hits the fan, you're still pretty resilient.
Yeah.
Have you learnt that, or do you feel like you've always just been like that?
I've always been like that.
Are your parents like that?
No.
Okay, so where do you think that stemmed from?
I used to be skinny, red hair, freckles kid in school. I identified this probably like year 3 or 4, realized, like, what do you think about when you're how old are you in year 3 or 4? 10, 11? I want to get the girls. I'm probably not in the position to get the girls right now. I'm going to build myself into like, I probably set this goal subconsciously when I was like, 10, 11 years old.
Oh.
I want to become what I think is the coolest person I could be. And I just went about crafting that over like many, many years. And I think what was good for me for school, whilst I didn't like school, I was like top of my class. So I was like always like, if not first, second or third max in my exam. So that reinforced a lot of self-worth and self-belief, but it's been quite a natural thing for me. So that
you
can
took
be
your school studies like very seriously?
no, that's what I mean. And no one believed me back in the day, but like, why would I lie about it? I only studied the night before, or I started every assignment the night before, and I would get like 98%.
Wow. Dude, that's unreal.
So yeah, is that like maybe that's a testosterone thing? My partner thinks Mel thinks I'm like high test, but I see all the, I see all the research and like, but I know most guys these days aren't.
Let's just put it this way. The guys that I work with, most guys that I see are sitting at around 400, 500 nanograms per deciliter, which is what I would say the levels of like a 40, 50-year-old.
Okay.
And like a mid-20, early 30s, sort of 20s to 30s, in my opinion, your testosterone levels should be around 900 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Why would you want it any other way?
Yeah.
If you know that testosterone helps you build muscle, drop body fat, increase confidence, boost sex drive, why would you not want high test? And every guy listening to this does have first of all, I believe that most guys listening to this podcast, they have the ability to boost their testosterone if they know what to supplement, what to eat, all that sort of the lifestyle biohacks, all that sort of stuff. So you can check out, it's at trtfree.com, which is my protocol that I've built out.
That's the one that like sort of like puts you on the map
that
everyone
helped
talked about.
Thousands of guys around the world.
So obviously we can't go into detail with the whole program in a podcast, but what's some of the things people can do to naturally lift their testosterone?
Yeah. So first of all, probably the biggest needle mover would be weight training, lifting weights and or sprinting. So sprinting and or HIIT training, it has a really powerful effect on your hormones. And like, you probably notice yourself, like, how do you feel after you go to the gym?
So much better. So, like when I'm going to the gym and like if I go for a run, I'll get like that run is sort of good feeling afterwards. But if I'm doing weights training, your libido, your sex drive, your energy all throughout the day and night is lifted.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is, that is not necessarily just testosterone. That effect is actually DHT.
Yeah. Well, this is what I also wanted to talk to you about today. We'll get back into some, supplements and things people can do to lift testosterone. One of the other things that guys struggle with so much these days is balding, male pattern baldness, thinning hair. And a lot of that's linked back to DHT. So there's a lot of guys that are on things like finasteride or like herbal things like saw palmetto that are meant to help reduce DHT. But I know yourself and a lot of other Dave Asprey, a lot of the other big people in this health and wellness and biohacking space is saying for men, DHT is one of the most important things you need in your body.
We'll put it this way. DHT is 3 to 10 times more potent than testosterone. So if every guy is focused on testosterone, they really should be focusing on how can I max out DHT? Now you'll see studies coming out about like DHT increasing prostate cancer, prostate growth, hair loss, that sort of thing. The thing is, man, for example, hair loss, that's multifactorial. It's not just DHT, right? It's low iron, low zinc, hyperlactin. There's genetic factors playing a role, obviously. But in terms of, put it this way, if you want to strip a man from strip away his manhood, a man's manhood, throw him on finasteride and watch how he feels.
Have you had a lot of clients come to you off the back of finasteride and be like, I'm fucked?
They're broken. They're broken. They're broken, but they're broken in a way that's like emotionally, like their neurotransmitters are out of balance. They got no drive. Their confidence is down. They got like, I'm going to put out some really weird symptoms because we're just going to be open about it. Watery semen,
Wow. Yeah.
thinning of the penis.
Fuck.
Like, I'm not like, and even like just issues, like all sorts of issues. So,
and I get going bald as a guy, you know, it's not desirable. You know, when you first start getting bald, and then like a lot of guys say it's very liberating when you just commit and shave your head. I always say, look, I don't want to go bald either, but it's like, what's more important, not going bald or like not losing what makes you a man?
that's the thing, man. Like that's exactly what I talk about as well. I think it's quality of life. If you're so paranoid about if you think that your self-worth is driven by the fact that you've got hair follicles on your head and you're nothing more than that, like you are Dylan because you are like this whole person.
Cool. Yeah.
People like you because you're friendly, because you're confident, you're inspiring,
Energetic, outgoing, all those things. And that'll take taking away like your vitality, right?
Well, put it this way, what would Mel think if you like, would she really?
No. Yeah. Well, and like another thing I would say, and this is not something a conversation I've had before, and maybe there's like, if you're that worried about your hair, but you don't want to sacrifice your fucking, you know, your confidence and your testosterone levels, go use that testosterone and dopamine, start a business, make money. And if you care that much, get a hair transplant.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if there's obviously had any follow surgeries and good, but I'd rather do that than take something that's going to.
I would consider that even myself.
I'll do it at some point. I'm definitely a high, like, I definitely have decent levels of DHT. I would say I'm fucking quite hairy as well for a white boy. So I know one day whenever my hair gets thin enough, I'll get a fucking hair transplant. I'd rather do that than risk fucking with my test.
I'm glad you're not for the medication.
No, never.
Have you heard horror stories?
Yes. Yeah, I've done research.
And even minoxidil, like even
talk to me about minoxidil. Is that bad?
like topical, not so much.
Okay.
With what's it called? The
What are you talking about? The roller thing?
microneedling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of like the other thing as well is like Roaccutane.
That, bro, I just wrote another thing too, because I took Roaccutane
Really?
in high school. Who knows if my stomach issues are caused from fucking that as well. Me and my brother both took it.
Post-Roaccutane syndrome.
We both got like, I feel like not long after, and I'd only experienced it once in my life. A couple of years after I got off Roaccutane, I feel like fully got depressed. My brother got it probably even closer.
Mental health.
The mental health potential implications of Roaccutane are crazy. But what are some of the other negative things that can be a side effect of Roaccutane? Because it's a pretty hardcore.
Well, let's put it this way. Right now, there's like major online forums that are dedicated to three things: post-finasteride syndrome, PFS, you probably heard about.
Yep.
Post-Roaccutane syndrome, PAS, and post-ashwagandha syndrome, which they're all cluster into the same weird dynamic. So and then also post SSRI, PSSD, post SSRI sexual dysfunction, where people have used SSRIs, even when they've stopped using them, they have numb genitals, and it's just numbed them.
I think that's the biggest, as a guy, like, speaking about mental health things, like issues, if you've done everything you can and you can't get back your sexual function, you can't get hard anymore, that's the thing that'll really fuck with your head long term. Yeah. Because you've lost essentially what makes a man a man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a concerning topic, because when doctors are prescribing antidepressants, for example, they're not mentioning the risk. Well, maybe they do mention the risk, but the risk emphasis is really minimal.
Yes.
If you look at the PSSD cases,
that's just the medical industry at the moment, though, you know?
Well, you know how it's operated.
Yeah.
Like, my dad's a pharmacist, and
I saw that.
I had the choice of becoming a pharmacist or becoming a naturopath, right? I could have gone down that path. And ultimately, one of my long-term goals is I want to actually invent my own ingredient. Why do you think I've been hunting ingredients? Yeah, because my long-term legacy goal is
create an
ingredient.
Yeah.
Which is doable.
Do you know how Roaccutane works, like the mechanism of it? Like how, because it fucking cleared up my acne 100%.
It works on It's like a vitamin A derivative. If you look at like, sort of working on that retinoic acid receptor, it's complex, but it would have downstream negative effects.
Because it has like long-term effects as well.
Well, explain why guys who have used Roaccutane are still complaining of side effects a year later.
Yeah, I've told this story I think once before on the podcast, but there was this girl that just like a friend of a friend that was down in Melbourne. I remember seeing her, like she was having really bad acne, and she did like some stories, and then she was like documenting that, and then she went on Roaccutane, and then she did a story a few months later, and oh my God, guys, like I just had to show you how good my skin looks. This is amazing. I'm so glad I went on it. And then didn't hear anything from her. Then a few months later, she come up with some other stories. And she's like, you could tell already from the start, she was really emotional. And she's like, oh, guys, I just felt like, I had to do this because I was speaking about it publicly, my good experience with it. And I feel like I don't want to influence people to do it. Taking Roaccutane was the worst thing I've ever done. I took Roaccutane because my mental health state wasn't good because of my bad acne. I would take that any day over what my mental health is like now off the back of Roaccutane. It's seriously scary stuff.
Dude, not that I usually treat acne cases because I tend to handball them off to other naturopaths because it's not my wheelhouse. But if I had to treat it, I'd be treating the gut.
Yes.
Right. I'd be treating I'd be using lactoferrin, berberine, possibly like probiotics, cleaning up the gut because your skin is a representation of your gut health. And if you got shit gut health and you got leaky gut, you're more likely to experience acne. You probably have high IGF-1, which is that actually causes the pimples.
Okay.
Or you have PCOS. You may have heard about, this is a metabolic issue. This is not a retinoic. It's not a Roaccutane deficiency.
You just reminded me of something. I want to go back a question back on that test conversation we were having before. You might know, maybe it's just like ballpark, like what's the average like testosterone levels of a man today versus say 50, 70 years ago?
Yeah. So there's a quote, which is, you're not the man your grandfather was. And I say that because it's true. Like the average testosterone levels let's say 60, 70 years ago was almost double what we are today. And people are wondering, why is this occurring? Why are men becoming more feminine, like in terms of their appearance and even like their demeanor, like they're lacking that drive. A lot of that can come down to like, heavy metals, pollutants, toxins, polyester underwear, laptops on a lap, cooking your balls.
Yeah.
Because remember that like one of the things that I'm really well known for is the icing of the testes.
I've seen that many, many times. Lucas, you're a big fan of icing your balls. Yeah.
Wish I had an ice back right now.
Let's talk about the benefits of icing balls in a second, but where I want to go with that, right? And maybe it's like tinfoil hat sort of stuff, but do you think it's intentional? The lowering of men's testosterone around the world?
Well, put it this way. If you want to create a society that's more obedient and more robotic, lower male testosterone, because if you don't, you'll have guys standing up, like going against, like standing up for what they believe in.
If you go back and you look at all the different revolutions that have happened around the world, I guarantee they were started from men with high testosterone every time.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention names, but I think there's some that would have had very high test.
Yeah.
But it's also, yes, it's high test, but it's actually also high dopamine. Because it's not always just about your hormones, it's about your neurotransmitters as well.
This is not really your line of work. It's like, but maybe you have an opinion on this as well. And maybe this is just me going down the different rabbit holes of, how it is when you're on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. Have you seen after like all the world wars, how they destroyed all the bells and buried them because like the bells had like a healing frequency have you seen any of the content around that? Yeah, there's a couple different things that happened like around like after those in between or after the Second World War. They destroyed all the bells throughout Europe because it had like a healing frequency, and the frequency of music used to be like 430 hertz, and then now it's been purposely changed to like
412
something. It's changed, and it's no longer like, if they've done studies on like what that hertz does to the body. It used to be healing, and now like it's like all this stuff. Yeah, you can put your tinfoil hat on, but if you wanted to create like an environment where people are more obedient, like you said, they don't revolt, they stay sick, so you continue selling them medicine. Like the two things that I think are the biggest problems in the world right now is the military industrial complex and like the pharmaceutical fucking industry. And like people like, as I said, I live in Newtown, so I see like all this capitalism is the worst, and I just think it's the stupidest thing ever. But like the absolute extremes of capitalism, where it's like, you know, the cronies that are all doing this stuff, top, not top 1.1%, saying the top 1,000 people in the world pulling the strings in these sorts of ways. I do think there's an element of bad intentions or very selfish intentions in that way.
Well, the frequencies you're mentioning, I think is it solfeggio frequencies?
I'm not sure, but
I actually was listening to, I listened to them. Like I use those YouTube.
Yes.
Some of them really, they get to your head. Like they actually put me into a distinctively, like I actually notice, I feel different.
There's so many videos I've seen, a crying baby, can't settle. Don't ring a bell next to them. Within a second, they relax.
That's really cool.
Because it's all like sound waves.
You're getting ready for it.
Getting ready for it. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm going to be getting a little bell.
We have to biohack the
100%.
The cradle.
Talk to me about icing your balls, because is one of the main benefits of that increasing your test?
Yeah. So icing, the reason why it actually helps with male fertility and also testosterone.
So it helps with fertility as well.
Well, that's what it's been studied for.
Okay.
So if you look into something known as like nighttime, it's called nocturnal scrotal cooling. It's the fancy term for keeping your balls cold.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the testes are not, they hang outside the body.
Yes.
Because they need to be kept cool. You want to okay, let's put it this way. If you want to lower your fertility as quick as possible without using a condom, is jump into a sauna, hot tub, just keep your balls hot, because you're going to kill your sperm. You're going to kill your fertility. You're also going to potentially lower testosterone as well. So what I recommend, and I've said it on like literally 80 different podcasts probably now, is icing the testes, not up against your skin. Use common sense. You're putting it up against your underwear, putting an ice pack up against your underwear for 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a day. I've seen blood work in hundreds of guys before and after. Just doing that 3 times a day has boosted their testosterone levels by about 100 to 150 points.
Wow.
And how much does
that one change?
Well, that one intervention, and how much does that cost? Okay, so no guy should be really complaining about, like, you know, the investment strategy.
That's so good. So that's a great one. I know that's one of the things you're famous for. If I came up to you and said, I'm a guy, I've got low test, what are 3 other things I can do to help naturally boost my test? What would you say?
So lifting heavy, weight training and or sprinting, eating a diet that's actually high in saturated fats. So we're talking like meat, butter, dairy.
Is that intentional messaging again coming up, right?
Yeah. The food pyramid.
Your margarine good, butter bad. What? Like, I can't believe I fell for that for so long.
No. So you got that, you got the saturated fats, and then supplements. There's a few, we'll use one that I know can help move the needle, boron. Have you heard about
boron? Yes.
So we'll put that into your stack when we do your stack. 3, put in, let's say 10 milligrams of boron, which is what I take quite often, can help to increase free testosterone.
Yeah, cool. Great stuff. Honestly, like, I'm going to implement so much off the back of this one podcast. So I hope everyone's like getting as much value from this as I am. Now, we're just talking about the way you sleep. Yeah. I want to talk about sleep because, again, with entrepreneurs, another one of the sort of weaknesses of entrepreneurs is not being able to get good quality sleep. What do you do to optimize your sleep personally?
So let's start by analyzing what I do first thing in the morning.
Let's start there.
So the morning is when you get outside and you try and expose as Huberman says, get outside, expose your face to the sun. Like, if you can get that early in the morning, that's great. What if you wake up at 5 or 5:30? Okay, then your next best thing that you can do is in front of a light box, right? Using super bright I use my recording lights.
Yeah.
Just smack it in my face because I know it's going to raise cortisol, which is what you want.
That'll wake you up.
But it also trains your body that, like, roughly 14 to 16 hours later, it's time to sleep. So you're training your circadian rhythm.
Yes.
Then you fast forward to like 6 p.m. That's when the blue blockers go on.
Yep.
So it's a bit early now, but if this was 5, 6 o'clock, I'd have my blue blockers on.
Yep.
And I wear those, you've seen how many brands have popped up.
Yeah.
Like, they're killing it.
Joe had a new pair yesterday. You were wearing,
There's a few good brands out. There's a lot. There's,
Mhm.
you know, RA Optics, Filter Optics. There's
I think the research is clear beyond any reasonable doubt at this point that you should be wearing blue blockers.
artificial lights, yeah, in general, which is one of the reasons why my whole apartment is red.
Mm.
So like, there's no, I mean, they're funny because I actually put, you know, when you open your fridge door, it's got the red paper, you know, the, whatever it is,
Like cellophane.
that's red, bro. So a fully,
That is the most Lucas thing I've ever heard.
and our neighbors, when they've seen us open the door,
They're like,
what's going on in there?
Like what's cereal?
The red light.
ISO?
But so like, yeah, wearing blue blockers 3 hours before bedtime. I'm lucky because I have a temperature regulating mattress. I've got the 8 sleep.
The 8 sleep. What is your thoughts on 8 sleep?
I personally like it because it keeps Vanessa warm. I'm already a warm.
I'm the same. I'm hot, Mel's cold.
It's usually the case, but yeah, because generally metabolism's a lot higher.
Yeah.
But they're cold. So the good thing is you can actually split the bed.
Yeah.
And put the heat on her side and like the neutral on my
Do
side.
you feel like it, like, did you track like your sleep performance? Do you feel like it had a noticeable difference in doing that?
Well, there's less mucking around in terms of fucking blankets.
Yeah. Oh, I have to use a different blanket to melt. Like I've got the cooling blankets until it gets into the middle of winter. I've just used cheering now. Obviously we sleep in the same bed. I've just this week gone into under her doona because if I have the normal like cotton doona in like summer, I'm fucking
Too hot.
sweating.
I have heard theories that couples, first of all, quality sleep is actually, you're better off sleeping in separate beds. I'm not going to get into that because
It's a whole other debate. Right?
I would love to, but
Vanessa.
that's not, they're not happy about it. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Best I could do was my own quilt. So
Yeah. So then the other thing as well is, man, weighted blankets.
yeah.
I actually, in winter when it's cold, I actually love using weighted blankets.
blanket.
I have a joke that using a weighted blanket cured my autism.
It does, man. It fucking helps sweep that extra stuff off.
It really does. It really does. Because it's like sensory points, but
Because sometimes Mel can't. I mean, Mel couldn't sleep. Like she was having through the pregnancy, she was having like just randomly get aches and pains, and she couldn't sleep because of ache and pain. And I just like put my leg over her, and she fell asleep straight away from having that weight. It's just that like human comforting feeling, right?
yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
My biggest thing, I'm planning to get an 8 sleep. Like we're gonna get out of Newtown in the next year and go get a little bit of property somewhere and get a bigger space. I'm really looking forward to. And one of the biggest things on top of my list is 8 sleep. However, there's one thing I'd love to get your opinion on, right? Where no Wi-Fi in the bedroom, phones on airplane mode. We're trying to eliminate our exposure to these things, but then we're sleeping on a smart bed.
I get it.
Is there, what's your thought on
The
that?
trade-offs. I think the EMF like output from the 8 sleep is minimal.
Yeah, I'd imagine they've thought about this because that's the type of person who would be purchasing
They're making a product for sleep.
Exactly.
They've thought about that. But the thing is, with the devices, you know, you said you switch off Wi-Fi, do all that sort of stuff. I've actually recently, you know how they say get your phone out of the room? I've been pretty lazy, and I've actually been I put my phone in a Faraday case.
Yeah, I've heard about these things. Yeah,
And, you know, I've actually seen what happens to the reception. It cuts out.
cut it out. Yeah,
So I'm sleeping with my phone next to my bed, but it's in the case. Like, some people say, nah, but you psychologically still know that your phone's next to you and it's still going to affect your sleep. I would say the darkness of your bed, like your environment, is really important. There's actually been studies on if you have a light on in your proximity, it actually increases your risk of prostate cancer massively.
that's crazy.
So like light, the reason they say that is because melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, is actually anti-cancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it's one of the most potent antioxidants you can give.
Are you a fan on supplementing with melatonin? I don't hear the best.
No, I'd rather, like, personally, the only times that I'd ever use it would be severe jet lag.
Yeah, fair.
Or if you need a boost in your immune system,
Okay.
that's where it can be beneficial. But man, if you want to raise melatonin levels naturally, 2 kiwi fruits 1 hour before bedtime.
Wow.
There's so many studies coming out on
Wow.
the kiwi fruits.
Kiwi fruits are so good as well.
Yeah, actually help the sleep.
Antioxidants. Yeah.
Really beneficial for sleep. And same with like pistachios as well.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
So let's like talk your sleep hygiene. So blue blockers on from about 5, 6 p.m.
Oh,
completely
mouth tape,
blacked out. Your
Yep.
mouth tape are the best.
essential every night.
You need it. It's the fucking
Yeah,
best.
eye mask.
Eye mask. Do you do nose strips as well? Or do you breathe quite clearly?
Lucky that I have good nasal,
Yeah.
like fine, but yeah, you could do mouth tape, nasal strips, eye mask.
Mhm.
There was a company that sent me active noise cancelling.
Oh yeah, I wear them as well when I sleep.
Do you?
Like little loop things. They're not like smart ones. They're just like
Oh,
silicone
block out. Yeah.
block out. Like
Is that because there's noise near your apartment, your place?
yeah, like just a little bit of like white like noise or Mel or
Yeah. The air purifier is like white noise.
Yeah.
That's why I put it on right next to me because like,
Yeah.
and then what else?
elevating your bed. I heard you elevate your bed.
Yeah.
Just what sort of elevation are we talking here? Like a few inches?
6 inches.
Yeah. So what's the benefits of elevating your bed while you sleep?
So what that promotes is it helps the brain to detoxify. It's called glymphatic drainage. And it also helps with reflux. For anyone hiatus hernia. Yeah, if you get reflux at nighttime, it helps with that a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I had 2 hiatus hernias, which they say is like a stomach acid thing, but I never get reflux.
Yeah, some people are asymptomatic, but
Yeah, I probably am. What about one of the things that we spoke about earlier that also can be good to use at nighttime? Taurine can be great for sleep as well, right?
Yep.
Helps you sleep.
yeah. So taurine, 3 to 5 grams, glycine. The other one is actually really good because glycine drops your body temperature,
Oh, really?
and you want your internal. You know how they say your room should not be hot; it actually should be a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Glycine can help lower your body.
Your body can't fall asleep. It needs to like lower like 2 to 3 degrees before you can.
Which is
sleep.
why if you take a hot shower, like an hour or so before bed, that's beneficial.
Yeah, because then your body's
Yeah.
already in that
If
cooling
you take a
process.
cold shower,
Oh, no way. Not at night.
it's too stimulating.
Cold shower's always in the morning. A cold shower at night, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
And what about GABA? One of the things that we spoke about for potentially my stack, sometimes I do struggle to sleep, was GABA, particularly the pharma GABA one. I think Thorn was your recommendation. What's the benefits of GABA and what sort of people could potentially see a benefit from supplementing with GABA?
Yeah. So GABA is a neurotransmitter that we produce in the brain. But what's interesting is that you can actually take GABA in a capsule in supplemental form, which is not the case for dopamine. It's not like you can just take a dopamine capsule.
Yeah.
You can't take a serotonin capsule. You have to take the precursor.
Precursors.
But with GABA, you can actually have it by itself. And the theory is that it's not necessarily crossing the blood-brain barrier. It's just that it's hitting the GABA receptors in your stomach, in your gut. And that's what's causing the sedation, the relaxation.
Yeah. Speaking of precursors, I want to move on to anti-aging. Now, NMN and NAD has been, again, all the rage the last couple of years. What's your overall thoughts on both of them? And do you have a preference in terms of ones that you would generally prescribe over the other?
Yeah. So I think NMN is a versatile and actually beneficial supplement for those who are like 35 plus.
Yeah.
Because as you age, NAD levels do decline. If you're in a good state of health, then if you take an NMN supplement, it should make you like so wound up to the point where you struggle to fall asleep.
Really?
Which is what I found personally with NMN. It's just, it was too stimulating.
Because NMN, that's the precursor to NAD, right?
Yeah.
I bought it, was one of the things, just because like I'm 30, almost 32, starting to think about anti-aging. Like you don't really think about that state in your 30s, but it'll be interesting. I'll have to monitor if it's feeling like it's keeping me too wound up.
Did it come with any other ingredients, or is it just a 500 milligrams?
I think it was just what's the Gold Nutrition, one of the big ones.
California Gold.
California Gold. Yeah, I don't know what comes in that.
Yeah, it's 250 milligrams, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few other cofactors we need to add in if
Okay.
you're going to be taking NMN.
Yeah.
But in terms of anti-aging supplements, I think NMN should be there.
Yeah.
There's some drugs out there that are favorable. Metformin.
I've heard a lot about metformin.
Yep, I've used it here and there. There's a few other. Spermidine's another one you may have seen. Spermidine's pretty popular. It's more for longevity. There's a lot out there. There's another one that my mentor has brought to market. It's called ergothioneine. That's like a sort of like a vitamin. There's a lot.
Are there any, outside of supplements, is there any exercises or activities or things that can like help stimulate like anti-aging naturally, or there's not too much research in that yet?
Man, the quality of your social connections has a huge impact on your overall rate of aging. Yeah, the quality of your relationships, man.
Yeah, it's the big thing, right? I want to move on. A couple last topics, and we'll wrap up. I wanted to talk to you about mushrooms, right? I want to do something a little bit different for this section. I'm going to give you a mushroom, and what I want you to do is give me two things. I want you to rate it out of 10, and give like a one-liner sort of answer of what they could be good to for the people that are listening. Now, first one, cordyceps.
Love. Yeah, I love cordyceps.
Yeah.
So cordyceps is a mushroom that I actually used for like 2.5 years straight when I was playing soccer. And the benefit of cordyceps is that the good thing about cordyceps is that it's not like many of the other mushrooms, because many of the other mushrooms actually lower DHT. And one of them, reishi, can actually, for some people, give the side effects of finasteride.
Oh, wow.
Which is why, I gave it to a couple, when I was younger and I was less experienced, I recommended reishi to a few gym owners. And these are like guys that are hustling, they're.
Does reishi sort of have any sort of similar effects like ashwagandha?
It can be, it does have a cortisol lowering effect, and I think it also is a little bit serotonin boosting. But when I gave it to this gym owner, he was really angry at me because he started complaining of the finasteride side effects. And I'm like, fuck, there might be something to this. And then I did a bit of research on it, found out that reishi inhibits 5-alpha reductase. And I'm like, I'm never prescribing that
ever again.
Ever again.
All right, so cordyceps out of 10, what's that?
9.
9. And now that we're doing reishi, that's...
well, for women,
Yep.
8.
Okay.
For men, 2, 3.
It's great context.
So it depends upon the person.
Because in doing my research, cordyceps was probably the one that I was like most interested in if I was going to try any.
Well, if you're going to use one, there's a company from Amsterdam, Netherlands, that makes the most potent cordyceps. That if you've never used cordyceps before and you take it for the first time, it's super potent.
So do you think the everyday person, let's say an entrepreneur going after big goals, like has a high energy output they need to deliver every day, could benefit from cordyceps?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Lion's mane.
It's extremely popular.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of research for mental performance and memory performance in elderly populations.
Okay.
But there's a lot of guys that get the finasteride-like side effects as well. So, and there's even a whole YouTube channel about this guy who almost committed suicide from taking lion's mane because it broke his whole quality of life.
So you've got to be careful before you just rush into things.
Well, just because they're a supplement doesn't mean they're always free of side effects. These are drugs. A supplement is a drug. It's still going to exert drug-like effects. So if I'm working with a guy who is an entrepreneur like yourself who wants to get shit done, have high energy, good mental performance, why would I prescribe lion's mane when I can prescribe
so many other things? Yeah. So out of 10 for lion's mane.
For memory performance, it gets a 4.
4. All right. So not even that good. So shiitake.
Shiitake is more of a neutral one. I give that maybe a 6.
Does that have any sort of benefit to that?
All the research is on the immune health.
Immune health, yeah.
There's a lot of research on the immune stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that's one that's maybe a little bit overrated?
Yeah.
All right. Final 2, turkey tail.
That's also another immune, and I think a skin.
Yes, they call it the beauty mushroom.
Beauty mushroom.
Yeah.
So I would give that maybe a 7.
And that's not too bad. And the final one, chaga.
Chaga's unique. Give that a 7 as well.
What's chaga for? It's not as, I've seen it more recently start to come up and it's becoming more popular, but it wasn't part of the OG stack that everyone, the OG illustrious. Yeah, remember that? 5 years ago, whenever it really became popular.
So the reason why chaga mushrooms beneficial is because it's really rich in something called superoxide dismutase, SOD.
How do you memorize all this shit, man? That's fucking crazy.
And because I feel like I can actually see when you mention these mushrooms, I'm like looking at the bullet points. And
So you sort of have a bit of a photographic memory, maybe.
maybe. My brother definitely does. He got 99 ATAR.
Oh, wow.
I'm like 89. But yeah, so chaga's good because it has the antioxidant benefits. And there was a really interesting effect that I got from chaga. It made me more likely to remember my dreams. That doesn't necessarily mean it's improving sleep, but it's more likely to remember my dreams.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned something before, one of these mushrooms was good for elderly people to maintain like cognitive function. Lion's mane. I want to speak to you about something that's really close to my heart. That's, we've experienced it in my family, both my grandparents, is Alzheimer and dementia.
Yeah.
Dementia. Have you seen any research around any compounds or any supplements or any things that can help reduce the risk of early onset Alzheimer's, or for people that are suffering it, things they can supplement with to help delay the progression of it?
Yeah, so I actually did a theoretical video for Chris Hemsworth because he has
that gene, right?
The gene. So
I was too scared to do that test. I almost don't want to know.
So the good thing is, well, from a lifestyle perspective, we want to be improving blood flow. Okay, so now in terms of ways we can do that, exercise. You look up exercise, Alzheimer's disease on PubMed, study after study after study. So in terms of interventions, yeah, it's going to really help. From a supplemental perspective, there's a few really good ingredients that I like. Where do I start? All right, so I'm going to start with, so have you heard of flavonoids? Polyphenols?
Yeah.
Flavonoids?
Yes. Yeah.
So things like resveratrol, apigenin, like these are, they're not found in meat. Put it this way, a lot of these neuroprotective compounds are actually found in plants. So like, what's another one that your audience would know? There's other ones that are found in plants like rosemary is another. So rosmarinic acid is found in rosemary. That's got beneficial effects on memory performance. Ginkgo biloba, Bacopa monnieri, that's a really, really good one for memory performance. And also another one is uridine monophosphate.
Ginkgo biloba was like one of the first like nootropics that sort of was like mainstream before it was even like
a good introductory one. Because it's it just increases, it increases blood flow. It also increases dopamine as well. So it's a good, it thins your blood a little bit. Like it's a good one to trial. And what do they say about the ginkgo trees are like the longest living tree in the world? Like they live beyond 100 years.
So the major like concept of this to help reduce the risk is things that stimulate blood flow, right?
Well, circulation, blood flow, yes, but blood vessel health as well. It's like, think about all the things that you should be doing. Pomegranate juice, beetroot juice.
I love beetroot juice as a pre-workout.
So good.
So good, yeah.
Gives you the pumps, helps with blood flow. Sauna usage.
Okay.
Because that helps with the heart.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get really experimental, there's a few peptides. Like C-Max, Zavalink, P21. There's a few out there.
Another nootropic that I wanted to ask you about that I've dabbled with here and there is just like a study drug, like a lot of people do, prescribe the
Ritalin?
No, that's too hardcore. Modafinil.
Oh, modafinil, yeah.
My granddad had Alzheimer's. Probably 5-6 years from diagnosis until he passed. He was very lucky compared to my nan. No personality changes, just got more and more forgetful. My nan had vascular dementia, and that became like personality changes, not knowing people, mood swings. So it was very different. But my granddad, I gave him half a tablet of modafinil. This is like, and he went back 2 years in time for that day. He like perked him up, was like he was like, we got our old granddad back. What's your thoughts? Not necessarily related to Alzheimer's, but what's your thoughts on modafinil? It's been probably one of the most popular nootropics off the back of like
Silicon Valley
and stuff. I've dabbled in it, and I've experienced good results personally from it, but I've had friends that have had it and had adverse effects and makes them anxious and stuff. What's your overall thoughts on modafinil?
So I think modafinil is another one of those drugs that's like, it's really beneficial during sleep deprivation, but it also really keeps you awake.
Like it really, it's like, it's the best wakefulness.
If you want to be awake, modafinil's there, and it's there, but it has a long half-life, which means that it does linger, and you have to take it early in the day. Like as soon as you wake up.
Mistake, yeah.
So if you take it too late, your sleep's ruined.
If you have it too late, or even if you have it in the morning and you have a coffee too late, you're fucked.
Completely.
You'll be staring at the screen and staring at the roof at like 1 a.m.
Very potent in that regard. Look, I think modafinil, it's a like once a month sort of compound.
Okay.
It's like if you want a daily, it's like you're going to drive what are you going to do? Drive a Ferrari on a every day.
What's the risk profile? What's the side effects with modafinil?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think the sleep disruption,
Yeah.
even though you take it early in the day, I think it still has I think it would affect sleep.
Definitely. Without a doubt.
Number one, that's going to accelerate your aging because remember, sleep's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, cardiovascular risks potentially, like because it's a stimulant. And then, yeah, I think look, if the goal is to improve cognitive performance, there's so many other compounds that we can use. That's why
everyone says this, right? I've just had, I think, a really good experience with modafinil. The way I explain it, and I mean, there's only certain things that you can get it prescribed for, right? It's mainly a narcolepsy drug.
Yeah.
I could do the most boring task ever, and if this is like earlier on when I was like new to modafinil, the most boring task in the world would be the most fun, interesting work, and you just smash through all of that, and you look at the clock, holy shit, it's been 2 hours, and you lose time perception.
Yeah, that's similar to what I experienced when I used it, but my mood the following day,
Really,
there was a bit of a crash, a little bit of a come down. So I felt like it was borrowing from the future.
I know what you mean, and it is something from my personal experience that your body gets used to, right?
Oh man, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are like hooked and they need it. I've had guys that have wanted me to formulate them protocols to like complement it or like amplify the effects.
Yeah.
So look, it's there. It's got a lot of research on it as well.
Yeah, I've had better experiences with modafinil, which is I think like the newer one that stemmed off the original one. It actually has a longer half-life, but I only would take like a quarter of a tablet and just cruise. I got to the point, like if I was to have like a full tablet of like a modafinil, which is a little bit weaker, it's like a recreational drug. I'm bouncing back and forth on my chair. So I know like I'm cautious of these things. I don't want to have a negative physical effects on my body because I don't fully understand it properly. Do you think could it be damaging to like gut health or anything like that?
If you're using it sparingly, I think when I say sparingly, maybe like once or twice a week, I think you can cheat your way through it.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any harmful effects long term.
Because it is like having a strong coffee in which it'll probably make you go to the toilet more than usual.
It could be affecting gut health as well. There's no research on it, but it might.
Yeah.
It might.
I want a few last things to cover off. I just want to ask you different questions about some different things. Now, one thing was the main takeaway I had from, Gary Brecker's stuff is the whole methylation process within the body. Like no compound, or maybe I think there's not one compound that a human body takes in that it's used in that form. It's always converted to something else, like through the process of methylation. From your understanding of methylation, like we don't have to go through all the science of that, but is there any key methylation processes that are the most common ones that people's bodies might not be going through the process of methylation properly and causing them deficiencies in different things?
Yeah. So the most obvious one is if somebody has a deficit in that MTHFR, they've got an issue with that gene.
Yeah.
It basically means that they're unable to convert folic acid, which is vitamin B9, into the active form folate.
Yeah.
So folic to folate. The problem occurs because folate's really important for DNA repair.
Yeah.
Helping to detoxify things. Is that over time, if somebody's living their life without knowing that they have this MTHFR polymorphism and they think that they can get away with just eating food to fix their health, you're completely oblivious. Like you're losing sight as to like what it means to be truly healthy. When people say you can get all the things you need from food alone, well, if you're not eating organ meats like liver, spleen, kidney, heart, and then you're doing all the other stuff, then unfortunately you're actually probably going to be missing out on some of these incredible nutrients that you actually need to get from supplements. So in this case, about 60% of the population has this, I think it's even higher, has this issue with this MTHFR pathway. What that can lead to is an elevation in homocysteine. You may have heard about homocysteine, but homocysteine can actually increase your risk of Alzheimer's disease and also cardiovascular disease. So what do we do to overcome this? Well, we take methylfolate, which is 5 cents a day.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. You take that and then you measure your homocysteine, you measure folate, and you check on a blood test to see how you're going. If just by correcting that, by the way, for some people can get rid of their ADHD, can improve their mood, can improve their well-being. It's because they're fixing a deficit that the body needs. So yeah, it is important, but like that's just one of like the many thousands of processes that go on.
Yeah. Do you spend much time with your clients looking at like methylation?
Only if the client wants to look
like
at
a problem solving thing. If you're looking for a solution to something, maybe.
Sometimes I'm usually able to like get the job done still elsewhere, but it's like some people might say, oh, he's just band-aiding it.
Yeah.
He's just being like a pharmacist now.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Let's move through. Let's do a bit of a speed round to finish it up and just get your thoughts on a lot of different things. Bit of a rapid fire. So you've seen, what's his name? Great page. I'm sure you follow him.
Ryan Johnson.
No. Well, what's that? Joe, what's the,
Paul Saladino.
no, fuck. The guy who always talks about like sunning his balls, like the
Carnivore Aurelius.
Carnivore Aurelius. Yeah. What's your thoughts on like sunning your balls? Is that a real thing or is that just like funny content?
Yeah, so sunning, so the UVB exposure to the testes can actually help with testosterone production.
Okay.
But if you're sunning, as in like tanning, not a fan, man.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I think it can actually cause damage to the skin.
What about red light therapy?
Beneficial, yeah.
But there's a lot of, do you think like the quality matters?
Yeah.
Ice baths for men and women. What do you think about each?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people who are getting into ice baths are probably overdoing it in terms of frequency. You only need about 11 minutes a week to get the benefits total. And also, if you're somebody who's highly stressed and highly strung, going into an ice bath can actually exacerbate that.
Yeah.
So for some people, they're sensitive, their nervous system can't tolerate it, not beneficial.
And for women, ice baths, I heard it's not as beneficial for women. It can be damaging in some ways.
I find that they're more sensitive to the nervous system, like stimulation.
Another thing that's changed my life, one of the best purchases I've made in the last couple of years is getting a sauna for home. As obviously it's an infrared sauna as it's indoors. What's your thoughts on like infrared saunas versus traditional saunas, and is there benefits from both?
Yeah, I think both of them do confer health benefits. In terms of infrared, I would say infrared's probably better in terms of detoxifying heavy metals.
I reckon 5-6 days a week I'm sauning. Is that too much?
3, I'd say are you training every day as well?
No, this will be like if I don't train,
Those
this will be
days
the
off.
thing I do. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, cool. Now other supplements, some of them we've spoken about in this episode. We'll get to do a quick, short take. Methylene Blue has been the other 2025 most viral product that you've seen.
Okay.
RFK Jr. doing it on the plane. A lot of big biohackers and health experts, say the research around it is pretty good. What's your overall thoughts on Methylene Blue?
So Methylene Blue has some, if you go on PubMed, it's got incredible studies for even potentially with neurodegenerative diseases.
Okay.
But I think most people that are taking Methylene Blue are overdosing.
Taking too much, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be, in my opinion, you want to microdose Methylene Blue.
Yeah.
Which is, less than 1 milligram or like 2 milligrams and below, I think is beneficial.
I was looking at some of the content you put out a little while ago about like glucomethylene blue and hydrogen water. Is hydrogen water like, because like you hear a lot of conflicting stuff about it. Yes, like the science around it is really good, but do you actually get that in hydrogen water? Are you a fan?
I am a fan because I've spoken to like a few doctors who have like studied it for the last like 10 years. And the research is pretty strong behind, hydrogen water as like a unique antioxidant.
Yeah. What about Shilajit? It's another one that's had a bit of it's been around for the last 10 years or so, but I think it's for the last probably year or 18 months. Again, it's coming top of mind. I'd love to know your thoughts on Shilajit.
So I say Shilajit's legit. if it's legit. As in, like, if it's a legit, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a legit,
It should be like it's a black tarry, sticky.
yeah, it should taste like the road.
Tastes like this. Yes. It
Like
tastes
you're eating
disgusting.
lick the road and lick.
Well, so what's Shilajit used for? Is it mainly for men? Shilajit?
Shilajit was
know?
used by Sherpas in Altai Mountains to promote physical endurance with a low oxygen environment.
Okay. So is it more, not so much cognitive benefits, more physical, hey?
Energy.
Levels? CBD oil.
There's a time and place for it, but I don't prescribe it and recommend it all that much.
What do you think it could be good for when you do recommend it?
Extreme stress.
Stress, right? Yeah. Last one, I know it's a bit of a funny one. I'm gonna fuck up this, like, Actovigen.
Love Actovigen.
Yeah, that's obviously a lot more niche. I guarantee, like, not many people listening would know it. But what do you use Actovigen
I
for?
took 3 this morning.
Yeah.
And it gets me back to pristine, well conditioned, just on point. It's put it this way. Actovigen is like what I would call EPO. You've heard EPO?
Yeah.
In a capsule.
So for endurance.
Oxygenation.
Yeah.
Because more red blood cells.
Yeah.
There's more oxygenation.
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Ukraine. It's from Ukraine. It's actually a lot of doctors prescribe it to pregnant women to help them with their energy whilst they're pregnant.
So if someone was just going to run a marathon for fun and wasn't doing any testing, it could be something good in the preparation phase.
You might be breaking PDs.
All right, last question. We're going to run through these quickly. Just need a one-word answer. I want to know, rate these things out of 10. One answer word. Methylene blue.
8.
Taurine.
10.
Apple cider vinegar.
8.
Tap water.
-1.
Katwaba.
10.
Shilajit.
9.
Sun gazing.
6.
Seed oils.
-1.
NMN.
8.
Creatine monohydrate.
10.
Ice baths.
8.
Chlorophyll.
9.
Intermittent fasting.
6.
And then extended periods of fasting.
6.
That's it, Lucas. We did it, baby. 2 years in the making. I've mentioned it at the start of the podcast. For anyone that wants to follow you along, see all your resources, all your training, all your information, where's the best places they can find you online?
So they just search Boost Your Biology on YouTube. Just go over there. I've uploaded over 1,000 videos. Just golden content over there.
And Ergogenic Health on Instagram as well. Trust me, guys. Fuck, if you're in business, if you have big goals, the best follow you ever make, you won't regret it. Thank you, brother. Really, really appreciate it. That was
Thanks
great.
for having me, man.
Cheers, bro.